Hello. Specifically for anyone trying to put in a Polarstar F2 in a 249. This one's a A&K, to be specific, but pretty much all 249s except for the featherweight that I know of has this kind of gearbox. So anyone's having trouble, you know, carry on with this video and I'll show you how I did it just to save you the heartache. All right, first things first. All right, if you're trying to do this, you're gonna need a Dremel, all right? Just to make a path for the hose. If you try to make it go through here, I mean, these two, parts right here, they line up. So I mean, you'd have to Dremel through that. If you try to go through here, the hose gets pinched when you slide it back into here. So this is the only path in which the hose can go. Which, looking at the top here, it's this hole. Go to this hole, you'll see there's a little ledge part, which you'll see that I Dremeled the piss out of. Smoothed it out so it wouldn't cut the hose, that kind of thing. So when you're done, you're not going to need to put a screw back in there anymore because you Dremeled the piss out of it. When you're taking it apart and you're ripping out all your AEG parts, this is the only part you want to save. Right here, your little trigger boy. Huge confusion that I had that nobody filled me in with, and there was nothing online. So right here, this is what you want to do. Your blue wire goes up here to the top. Little black wire. Now on this one, learned this the hard way, it goes in the top one. So now that we know, top here and then top here. Blue wire goes on top. Black wire goes on this secondary top on the side. This one, if you put this on here, every time you pull the trigger, nothing happens. But when you let go, it'll fire. So this is how we learn. Trial and error. These boys, I mean, everyone, there's a bunch of videos that tell you how to do these ones, but if I'm not mistaken, it's the black one. Yeah. What did I just do? Did I pull it out? Yeah. Yeah, all right. So the black one, right on this little connector, there's a little black strip on this bottom one. That's all right. Black goes on bottom. White go on top. I'll hook that back up in a minute. What else? Yeah. All right. That's pretty much it. Don't fuck with this. Don't fuck with that. Just assume everything's fine. There's a little fucking O-ring in there, like some of you HPA people probably already know. And if you lose that thing, then air will shoot out at the top when you plug in the hose. So, trial and error. This is my first time doing HPA, so what do you want? Our last thing in the little gearbox thingy that I want to go over is these things. These amped airsoft integral grip lines. So these things are, probably really good for airsoft and shit with like your version 2 gearboxes. But with these, not really ideal. For one, as you can see, huge difference in diameter, huge hose, which makes it very complicated. I noticed when I screwed this in and tried to find a path to Dremel out to have it stick through, it was just too large. It was just way too large. If I wanted to Dremel more, I probably could. But then I run into the problem of that hole right there, which that hole I had to make. That hole was not there. That's the hole you have to Dremel out in order for your hose to run through that hole, which when you order your engine, it comes with this nut and bolt with the hole in it. Yeah, which they're generous to supply. But the amped airsoft IG line doesn't fit through that hole because it's huge. It's very thick. It's a thick ass boy. so you're kind of forced to use this stock little not so good tubing that they give you with, or that they include. So with these things, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could use it. You'd have to Dremel this out a lot larger. So you could do it. I would order the big one, a little bit longer, because as you can see, by the time I hook this up, I mean, it's actually shorter, you know, as far as the line. And this is already short enough. I mean, it barely peeks out of the bottom of the pistol grip there on the gun. So if you had this on there, I mean, you've already lost quite a bit more. So if you're gonna order this, I forget what sizes these come in. I think this one's like a 12 inch or something like that, but get like get the next stage up if you're gonna use it. And then you're gonna have to, I mean, more power to you, but you're gonna have to figure out how the hell to get that thick ass hose through this hole, or you can order or go buy you a bigger bolt set and Dremel through that, make your own bigger hole. I don't know, but this bolt is what keeps this attached to this. Without it, I mean, there's really no way, trust me, I've tried, there's really no way to have this still connect to the gun without it. So yeah, there's really not a whole lot of space. I thought about drilling through here maybe, or through here, but two little tiny screws, it just isn't gonna hold it like this does, especially when you're toting around a 20-pound weapon. So we're kind of stuck. Needless to say, I just wouldn't even use these, unfortunately. They seem pretty badass and very durable, but we're stuck with these boys. Use the stock hose. We're gonna do a lot less troubles. This is what I do. I just run all these wires throughout the back, and I pretty much actually just stuff everything in the stock and the buffer tube, which the buffer tube I also had to mill out, because when you get it, there's just a tiny hole, but I drilled the fuck out of it. Even took a sander to the inside of it, and it perfectly fits the FCU and the battery. I stuck my battery in there, and I stick my FCU in there. When I collapse it, I can even just collapse the stock down, pull out the battery, change it out if I need to. I can do that in the field. So, because opposed to how, who's that, Alphonse, how he did his, for some reason he has like space back here when he puts in his gearbox, but I didn't see any space. So I kind of improvised there. All right, when reinstalling your pistol grip, something I found out better way to do is take your little pin boy for back here and set that in first, even though you don't have the buffer tube and stock on yet. Stick that on there first. You ain't gotta apply the C-clamp yet. You just stick it through anyways. All right. Take that little screw boy and screw in the other one. Otherwise, it doesn't align right, and then when you go to put in your gearbox and put in those set screws and then try to put all this in, you have to fucking shove shit through. So I found out that if you just do this part first and then put in that first screw, you're just way better off. All right, I know you guys have seen probably a couple of videos of people taking in and out of the gearbox and sliding out the back. All right, it's not a real saw. It's okay, you can lift it right out. Fucking just gotta jiggle this charging handle thing that's usually in the way. All right, when reinstalling this boy with the hose, stick the hose in first. You start trying to fucking slide it in like a normal saw, you're gonna sever or pinch the wire. All right, feed your FCU shit through the back, hose going down the pistol grip, a little lift. There you go, man. Shit just drops right in. Okay. All right, as soon as you got it dropped in, apply these two screws back in. That's what holds that boy in place. Oh yeah, another thing I fucked up, when you're initially breaking this thing down, and because that's all I saw, and it's all I thought we were supposed to do is just slide the gearbox out. Don't slide the gearbox out. For another good fucking reason why you don't initially do that is because the trigger, the little latch that applies the trigger, yeah, so when you try to pull that out, it'll actually bend that fucker. It'll bend it when you're trying to get it because it'll catch from the trigger housing. So when you get these two out, lift it up, not out. Up, not out. You will fuck it up. All right, once you got your C-clamp thingy boy back on there, it's holding on your buffer tube. You can do what I did. If you did, Dremel out the piss out of this, and you can stick your FCU in there. You know, just keep testing it, see how big you need it. It's roughly the perfect size for your buffer tube initially. At least on this side, it's almost tapered. So this side is a little bit smaller, probably like a millimeter smaller than this side. So that's kind of why I extra milled it out so that it would just freely move in the buffer tube, so that you can just stick it right in there. Just have her poking right out. And then you close it. There you go. All right, she's in. In there like swimwear. Cool. So this is what you're left with. Gearbox is now HPA, it's in there like swimwear. There you go, you got your FCU sticking out in the back. Battery is also in the stock. And what you gotta do is you just connect your battery. When you go to stick it in, you make sure the FCU just goes right back in the buffer tube. Yeah. You only want a little bit of the cable sticking out. Plug it up, reattach. You're not gonna be able to fully collapse the stock unless you took the battery out and shoved it in the buffer tube. But you're gonna get probably maximum like 1 or 2 clicks in, but it's freely moving. And that's how we do it, man. Yeah, let me know if you got any questions, mate.